full disclosure, guys, this is a very personal, sensitive topic for me. So I will be recording this in segments. So you will be seeing me in different outfits because I have to take my time with this. I want to share my journey, the pain, the resentment, the loneliness, but also I want to share how I found my way back to hope. Because if you are going through this, you are not alone. In this episode, I will discuss my journey as a single mother. When I found out I was pregnant, I imagined a journey filled with love and support. I pictured my partner rubbing my belly, attending all of my doctor's appointments, and feeling just as excited as I did. I spent most of my pregnancy feeling alone. My partner wasn't present, not emotionally, not the way I needed him to be. And the loneliness, it cut deep. My very first appointment was very nerve-wracking for me. Prior to that, as I mentioned in my first episode, I had 2 miscarriages. So I was going in there full of anxiety because I wanted to make sure everything was okay. So my partner did not feel the need to go with me. At the time, I didn't tell any of my family, so no one went. I went by myself. And I remember sitting in that doctor's visit in the waiting room, surrounded by couples, husbands holding their wives' hands, excited about the journey. And here I am by myself. I was trying to act like it didn't hurt, but inside I was breaking. Like, why would you not feel the need to come with me? But I am forever grateful that after that, my family stepped up. So if he wasn't there, my mom came, or my dad, even my sister Tatiana was there. So I had never really felt alone. So instead of all of those thoughts that I had, I'm getting really choked up. That's why I keep swallowing. Honestly, I don't want to make it seem like I'm portraying him in a bad light. Like, I'm not here to go into details about certain things like, oh, he did this on this day. I'm just simply sharing how I felt in the moment and my experience throughout that journey. Motherhood is not easy, so imagine doing it by yourself. I resented him so much. I had so much anger. I knew it wasn't healthy. Like, I wanted him to feel my pain. I wanted him to suffer at one point. Like, I wanted him to hurt the way I was hurting. Because after I walked out when I was 6 months pregnant, there was like a couple weeks there where he did not reach out to me. He did not call. He did not text. And I was depressed, very depressed. So much so that my parents were like, you need to get out of this room. You got to stop. I was crying every single day religiously. There wasn't a day that passed that I did not cry. I was grieving. I was grieving the family I thought I was going to build with this man. I was grieving the fact that I felt robbed from my journey, my pregnancy. I felt robbed of the image that I had in my head. I was so angry at one point that I just wanted him to feel pain. I never did anything, but I just had this urge, I just had this feeling that no, he has to feel what I'm feeling. There's no way that he can live his life happy and I'm still angry, I'm still hurt, I'm crying, and he gets to do what he wants. He'd say things to me like, a lot of men don't want women with kids and how they're washed up. So I honestly started thinking that I showed up for this man in ways a woman should show up for her partner. So I know a lot of people are probably like, well, you knew the signs were there before you even got pregnant. Why did you stick around? And truthfully, I did. And it's because I thought he'll see like, okay, she's a good woman. And I wouldn't want to ruin that. I don't want to risk my chance of losing her. So I'm going to step up and change my ways. That's the way I was thinking. And unfortunately, that never happened. He did not, obviously. I'm not with him now, but there was times where I just wanted him to like see, wow, she is really good. She's a good woman. She loves my daughters. She's going to be a great mom. She's there whenever I need her. Maybe I'll stop doing what I'm doing and change my ways for her because she deserves it. That never happened. I hope you women out there that are probably going to a similar situation like me, don't hope and wait for a man to change. When he shows you who he is, believe him. Believe that is who he is. And don't stick around and use the excuse that you're staying for your kids because they're going to see an unhappy mom. So after my son was born, the reality of single motherhood hit me even harder. Waking up every 2 hours to feed him, change his diaper. In the beginning, there was an issue with his bilirubin, so I had to go to the doctors with him. And it's just myself and my mother. I remember this one time vividly. We were struggling to open the stroller. People were watching us, not trying to help. And I'm here like, this is my life. I'm going to have to be figuring these things out by myself. My mother and I spent at least 15 minutes struggling trying to open the stroller until some man walked by and was like, this is how you do it. And I was so angry because I'm like, his father should have been here to help me. Call him and he's like, oh, I forgot. How do you forget something like that? Like I don't have the ability to say I can't show up today. I am full of apprehension, sharing this because I don't want people to think that I'm just trying to bash him. I should have realized that we were on different pages. And I mean, I knew we were, but I thought things would have changed, especially after, finding out I'm pregnant, but they didn't. So I was like very pushy, like we need to get a place for us that is ours. And he was not on that timing. And at that moment, I knew that maybe this wouldn't last because I'm here thinking we need to move in as a family, get our own place. And he's like, no, I want to stay in my 1-bedroom apartment. That I take full accountability. I was pushing something he was not ready to do. I should have known. There were nights I would be in my room, rocking my baby to sleep, exhausted, overwhelmed, and I'd cry silently because the weight of it all felt too much for me. I did end up seeking therapy, and that was like the best decision of my life because I was able to confide in her and tell her things that I couldn't tell like my family or friends. But it really hurt a lot to know that I'm waking up every couple of hours. Well, I was breastfeeding, so he was on demand. It wasn't really every 2 hours. It was whenever he was hungry. And I was so angry because I felt like he just had the choice to be there or not. I didn't. He had the ability to sleep if he wanted to, go out, even shower at his own leisure. And I am here having to do things based on my son's schedule. I didn't have the choice to say, I can't do this right now. Not today. I don't have that choice now either. I have to do everything, make the best decisions for him by myself. I resented him. I resented him so much. It's just the fact that he could wake up and decide he didn't feel like dealing with this while I didn't have that luxury. I resented the freedom he had while I had to carry the responsibility every single day. There was a time where my son and I caught COVID. I mean, everyone in the house had COVID. We were sick. I was so nervous because my son, who's an active baby, who's all over the place, he's not active the way he normally is. He's just laying there, tired. He just didn't look like himself. And I was so worried. Couldn't give him medication because he's underage. At the time, I think he was, 6 months maybe? So couldn't give him any medication. And he was throwing up, fever. I was so freaking scared. And I was angry. Oh, that anger consumed me. It definitely robbed me of peace. I called his father around 2 a.m. that day. Find out he was half asleep. I'm like, I'm glad you get to sleep in and not worry about a sick child. Here I am, worried, sick, can't sleep. What did that phone call do for me? It got me more upset because he didn't call the next day or a few hours later to check up on his son. He could give a crap. He knows that his mother, me, is going to take care of him, so he doesn't have to do it. I was in a cycle of pain, constantly wondering, why me? Why us? Why wasn't I enough? I kept asking, why me? Why? Why is this happening to me? Why am I here now having to raise a child by myself? Why am I now mom and dad? But at some point I woke up, wake up, get over that. At some point, I had to ask myself, how long am I going to let this anger control me? So one day I looked at my son. I really looked at him and I realized he deserves a happy mother. He deserves a mother who wasn't crying, who wasn't carrying bitterness. He deserves a mother who was full of happiness. He deserves a mother who was full of love, not resentment. So I started working on myself. I gave myself permission to grieve the family I wanted. I stopped waiting for that apology because I knew damn well I was not going to get it. And I forgave him, not for him. I forgave him for me. I forgave him because I knew it would set me free. He doesn't know how to love me. So I hope you guys know forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean I excused what he did. It means I refused to let his absence steal my joy any longer. And guess what? That meant I was set free. So I can say now that I am hopeful. I still believe in love. I have my reservations, but I believe that love does exist. I still believe in partnership. I still believe that I can find someone and build a family with. Having a kid does not mean I'm washed up, but I am fearful. You know, I am very scared about bringing someone around my child and hoping that my son does not feel like he doesn't feel less than. He doesn't feel like, okay, this man doesn't really love me like he loves my siblings, because I do plan on having more kids. So I will try to make sure I do a check-in with my son frequently just to make sure he's feeling okay. He doesn't feel he's the outsider. I'm very scared about that. I'm very scared about bringing another man around my son and he doesn't love my son the way I love him. I know I hear stories a lot where women are single, they end up finding someone else, getting married, and their partner treats their kids like their own. So I pray to God that is my journey, that is my experience, because I do love and I want to be loved and I know I deserve love. But the most important thing is I'm not waiting for it to complete me. I am complete on my own. So to anyone listening out who feels abandoned, angry, or lost, I want you to know you are not alone. I'm here. You are strong. You are a great parent. You're doing everything you can. And one day you will wake up and realize that you were never meant to beg someone to love you or your child. The right love, it will never make you question your worth. If this episode spoke to you, please share it with another parent who needs to hear this. If you walked this journey before and came out stronger, send me a message. I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to hear that there is hope and there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you for letting me be vulnerable with you. Thank you for holding space for my story. And if you're on this path too, just know you've got this. You are not alone. Until next time, take care and keep believing in the love you deserve.
Mama. Mama.